Before the games officially get underway, I want to take a look back at the Buffalo Bills 2019 training camp. Welcome to Billievers Talk. My name is Joe, partnering with www.bewarethestampede.com. Go to www.bewarethestampede.com for all of your Buffalo Bills news heading into the 2019 NFL season. Guys, as many of you know, we recently gave away an Andre Reed miniature helmet signed Buffalo Bills helmet. I will be letting you all know who the winner was of that mini helmet at the end of this video, so make sure you stay tuned. But before that, we are going to talk about NFL Buffalo Bills 2019 training camp. Now, in talking about training camp, I want to let you guys all know it's 11 days. So if I went day by day, then obviously it would take longer than most of my videos do. So I decided not to look at notes. I'll probably forget some things. So as I forget things, obviously in the comment section, let me know I forgot. Obviously, excuse the voice. It's not getting any better. And I am taking as much medicine as I can to make sure to give you guys the best coverage. But hey, the fun doesn't stop. We play the Colts tonight, and I will be previewing that game. So make sure you stay tuned for that as well. But I did want to look back at training camp. Excuse me. Look back at 2019 Buffalo Bills training camp. Obviously, the big news is the injuries on the offensive line. We came into training camp not sure about how the offensive line would do, and they were mixing and matching, right? We all know Cody Ford started at right tackle. Well, last 3 days of training camp, he was playing the right guard position. Brian Dable came out and said, we're going to keep Cody Ford at tackle. Well, again, last 3 days, he was at right guard. What does that mean? We'll find out in preseason. Where is he playing in preseason? Are they keeping him plugged in at guard, or are they moving him to right tackle? While he was at right guard, Ty Nsekhe was at right tackle. So is Ty Nsekhe going to be a starter on this offensive line? And then one of the biggest questions of our offensive line, of course, is Mitch Morse. Mitch Morse was injured, put in concussion protocol, and that kind of got us all scared a little bit, right? I'm not going to lie. A lot of people worried about him possibly retiring, and we know that if you have a history of concussions, the likelihood of you getting another one goes up. And so we have seen players early in their career retire because of multiple concussions. I still think that this is all precautionary. I do not think that this is something to be taken that seriously. I am no more scared about the concussions of Mitch Morse today as I was when we signed him. And I'm going to say it maybe like a 2 out of 3 or 2 or 3 out of 10. So I'm not too concerned. You figure he played on a Saturday, he sat on a Sunday, and then by Tuesday, we had off day Monday. By Tuesday, he was doing agility drills. He was on the sideline. He was working with the coaches. I think that's a good sign. I don't expect to see him in that first preseason game. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll see him for a series in that second preseason game. But I look at that third preseason game as possibly where we can find him at that time. So hopefully he's there for that third preseason game, getting some reps. And even if he's not there, you do have that scrimmage with Carolina, the different team scrimmage that they're going to do. They have 2 of those scheduled down in Carolina, so we'll see what happens there. We also had hamstring injuries at tight end. We knew coming into training camp at OTAs, Tyler Kroft, of course, broke his foot, same foot he broke last year, so he's going to be out for a while. In fact, when the initial depth chart report came out, as I talked about, he was listed on the PUP list. If he's listed on the PUP list to start the season, that means he's not eligible to play or practice until week 7. So that's something to look into. In the meantime, we had a great third-round pick in Dawson Knox, cleaning up and looking really good, right? But then first week of practice, what happens? He pulls his hamstring, so he's out for a little bit. He's been back on the sideline since. He looks like he's been in pads, doing agility drills on the sideline, so that's good to see. Also, Jason Kroom, he pulls his hamstring as well. So you have Tommy Sweeney, 7th round draft pick, taking a lot of reps at tight end and impressing a lot of people. In fact, some people would argue he was one of the most positive parts of training camp, and that's very, very possible. When you have that depth at tight end, it's always good to see. Now, when you look at the depth chart, Tyler Kroft is listed as number 1, but he's on the PUP list, and then Lee Smith is listed as the number 2 tight end behind him. So, another big story coming into camp was maybe the fight for that 6th wide receiver spot between David Sills, the 5th, and also between Duke Williams. I was a huge David Sills fan coming into training camp. A lot of people out there, a lot of you were Duke Williams fans, and Duke started coming on at the end. I'll give him that, but for the most part, both of them really silent. The wide receivers that really stepped up, talking about John Brown, looked really good. Most people say he was the Buffalo Bills MVP of camp. And then you have Cole Beasley. Some days he looked great. Other days, he was dropping a couple balls, things like that. So you want to get that into wraps. Zay Jones looked pretty good, pretty consistent most of camp. Robert Foster was a question mark at times. You had to wonder about where Robert Foster's mind's at, especially in practices. Then it came out that, sometimes he doesn't practice at 100%. And I wonder how much of that Coach McDermott's going to put up with. Coach McDermott's trying to build a culture here. And, I don't think not trying 100% during training camp is part of that culture. We saw Robert Foster struggle last year to make the 53-man roster. Once he got on there, he was impressive. But you have to wonder what's going to happen in that second year. And then you look at Andre Roberts. Andre Roberts, I believe, was a bright spot for the Buffalo Bills, trying to lock up possibly that number 4 wide receiver spot in front of Robert Foster, and also listed on depth chart as both are number 1 kick and number 1 punt returner. So that might be the only reason why he might drop down to 5 on that wide receiver depth chart. The wide receiver that impressed the most, no one was expecting, Ray McCloud. Ray McCloud's second year at Clemson, picked up in the draft last season, I believe in the 6th round. So look at Ray McCloud to fight for that 6th wide receiver spot as we get into the preseason. See how he does. Probably getting some balls thrown to him by Matt Barkley, probably playing with that 2nd string, maybe a little bit of that 3rd string with Tyree Jackson. Tyree Jackson is someone else we can talk about during camp. Tyree Jackson, for most of camp, was the first guy on the field and the last guy off the field. In fact, the last day of camp, it was over for like half an hour, and he's still on the field working on drills with a coach or two that stayed behind. So you want to talk about dedication. You want to talk about just willingness to learn, take that extra step and learn. That's a good sign. That's something great. That's something we love to see. Maybe it makes you wonder, well, we keep that 3rd quarterback so that way no one picks him up for the active roster. We're pretty sure we can get him on the practice squad, but you still want to see what he can produce in preseason, and maybe he'll sneak his way into that 53-man roster. We'll wait to see about that. Now, obviously, when our starting offensive line was in, when you're talking about Mitch Morse being in there, you're talking about Cody Ford was playing tackle at this time. I believe John Feliciano, Spencer Long, they were in there as well, even though they got hurt in camp as well, to add to the injuries. And that's not even including the Adrian Waddle injury, where he's now out for the season due to a torn quad. So, there's a few injuries there, but, we have good offensive line depth, and luckily we do. We're able to fill in, and we did sign some players to make sure we could fill in at those spots. But John Feliciano comes back, Spencer Long comes back, Mitch Morse comes back. We have a pretty deep offensive line with Ty Nsekhe, Cody Ford. I even talk about Deion Dawkins, who had a pretty decent camp this year. Again, we did not sign him on his 5th-year option, but we'll see what he does in the regular season. Pretty good camp for him this season as well. So great stuff going on in the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, the offensive line still a little suspect, but that's expected when you're talking about 5, 6, 7 injuries during training camp. We talked about the wide receivers. We talked about the tight end. Let's talk about that quarterback that we all love, Josh Allen. Josh Allen was about as good as could be expected coming into his first full training camp in his 2nd year with the Buffalo Bills. You're talking about a guy who showed some better consistency at time, showed better reads. He was reading the field more during practices this year, so that's an encouraging sign. He did take some dump-off passes when they were available, and so that's really good to see. We need to get more of those. We saw last season plenty of times where he could dump the ball off, decided to take off and run with it, right? So want to see more of that as well. We can talk about the running back position. Devin Singletary looking pretty good. Sonoris Perry, you have to be a little disappointed with him. Same thing with TJ Yeldon. Have to be a little disappointed with those guys. Devin Singletary actually listed as the 4th running back on the opening depth chart. You have LaShawn McCoy, still looking like he's going to be the guy. And then you have Frank Gore, and then of course Patrick DeMarco as well. And then you have Singletary behind them. So makes you wonder about Patrick DeMarco. A lot of people, even I said he wasn't going to make this team. A lot of people pointed out his special team prowess. He's a captain on special teams, and it looks like he might stay on just for that reason. So I was wrong there, and that's okay. I like Patrick DeMarco. I think he's going to be a good fit. I do think he does well on special teams, and I also love those little gadget plays where he runs out, and he made a couple of nice catches last season because he was wide open because no one's guarding him, of course. So we'll see what Patrick DeMarco can do. But that's our offense. Our offense looked pretty solid at times. Had some issues issues with the drops at the wide receiver position. I know Dable and Coach McDermott at different times were very unhappy with the way the offense performed. We did spend a day where John Brown was just burning people left and right, and him and Josh Allen seem to be able to be having this connection right now, which is really good to see. Really good to see a wide receiver and quarterback connection, even though they're new to the team. Nice to see them connect quickly and be able to get that camaraderie going early in the season. We move over to the defense, and obviously I think the biggest story here is going to be Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver started with the twos during training camp, started behind Jordan Phillips, but as training camp went on, you saw Ed Oliver. Obviously Kyle Williams came to visit, and Kyle Williams was a huge mentor towards Ed Oliver, and you saw Ed Oliver continue to improve, and so happy to see that improvement on a day-to-day basis, and we'll see how that progresses in the preseason, but we did see him move up to the ones. You look at that cornerback 2 position, another big injury was EJ Gaines. EJ Gaines, unfortunately, is suffering from, I think it's his hamstring again, just like 2 seasons ago and last season as well. So we hope that he gets better quickly, but that's going to open up the door for Kevin Johnson, who was up and down in camp himself, had a lot of good flashes of some great playmaking ability, but Levi Wallace still listed as the CB2 coming into the preseason. So we'll keep an eye on that during the regular season or during the preseason. Trey White looked really good. Again, he got beat by John Brown a couple times, but normally was quick to fix the issues and able to get back on the field and shut down John Brown. So again, you're always going to see these competitions. Tremaine Edmonds, Matt Milano. Matt Milano's close to 100%, according to Leslie Frazier, after the injury last season. He's looking good. Might see him in the first preseason game. I'm not sure if we'll see him in the first one, but I definitely think we'll see him in the second game. And, of course, Tremaine Edmonds is just a beast, running all over the field. And, obviously, in his second year, had Cornelius Bennett come in and was able to talk to him for a little bit. So that was really good to see. Again, some of these old, but some of the better players to ever do it come in and teach these young guys some ropes. We have a very young team, guys, a very young team and a very promising team. Even if it's not this year, we have lots to look forward to. I think it's going to be this year where we really start to turn the corner. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think this is the year the Buffalo Bills start to turn the corner? One last thing I wanted to get into, another big competition going into camp, obviously not a big deal to most, but is that punter spot, between Bajorges and Carter. All through camp, it looks like Bajorges has won that job so far, and we'll see what happens at the end of the preseason games. We'll see how they do in preseason, but right now it looks like it's Corey Bajorges who has the upper hand on Corey Carter. So we'll see what happens there. Again, guys, this is just a quick recap. Again, John Brown, in most people's eyes, was the MVP. Stella Tuile looked really good too. We can't forget about him. He's looking like he's going to take on some double teams, and it's going to be tough for offensive lines. If you're talking about double teaming Ed Oliver, you're talking about double teaming Stella Tuile, we should expect to see Trent Murphy, who had another great camp. Leslie Frazier said it was night and day the difference between Trent Murphy last year and this year. And then you got Jerry Hughes. These guys, if the inside is taking up double teams, these guys are going to make you pay. And we also haven't talked about the blitzing linebackers with Tremaine Edmonds, Lorenzo Alexander, and also Matt Milano. So again, let me know what you thought about camp. Let me know your overall opinion. Again, the offense still a little suspect, might take a little time, longer than some Bills fans might want, but it's going to be fun to watch anyway. Love seeing this new quarterback getting a little more consistent, a little more rhythm with his wide receivers. Love seeing that. Need to limit the drops, of course. Like I said, we brought in some new wide receivers. Even though John Brown was in the top 10 of drops last season, we hope that he cleans that up and that we can completely be a full squad with no mental errors like that and be able to make those long plays downfield when they are available. So again, let me know what you thought about training camp. That's my quick rundown. I'm sure I forgot a lot. We had a retirement in there. We had, again, Adrian Waddle going down. We had a lot of things packaged into 11 days of camp. The new era one, we had a superhero day. That was a lot of fun. We had Josh Allen stealing a Miami Dolphins fan's jersey and giving him his own. We had a bunch of stuff like that going on. Josh Allen was asked to prom from what I saw as well. But we had a lot of stuff going on in training camp. Let me know what I missed in the comment section below. Again, maybe not missed it because I forgot about it. Maybe just missed it because I wanted to keep this video short. Try to give you guys an update on everything that's going on. Steven Hauschka, he looked good in camp. He actually stayed one day for a few hours after camp, just constantly kicking the ball. Looks much better now than he did at the end of last year. So that's a promising thing to hear. So we look forward to seeing him at full health again. Just looking pretty good. Nothing too devastating to announce other than the Waddle injury, but also nothing too get really pumped about, really excited about. The John Brown connection, that might be something to get excited about. But we'll see what happens in preseason. Now it gets a little more real. You're playing against other teams. You have guys playing to make the 53-man roster. It's going to be fun, and there's going to be players to look out for. So again, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know who you're going to be watching out for, especially in this first preseason game against the Colts. Who are you interested to see, and what do you want to see out of them in that first preseason game to maybe move them on? Again, guys, I'm going to keep you covered here on Believers Talk. We'll do pregame of the Colts game. I'll do a postgame of the Colts game, and we'll keep you covered on who gets cut, who we add to the team if someone gets cut, and everything Buffalo Bills news. So hit that subscribe button, like this video, leave a comment, and I'll happily reply. I look forward to talking to y'all soon. Again, stick around as I announce who won that Andre Reed mini helmet. I look forward to talking to y'all soon. Until I do, go Bills. Again, guys, I want to thank all of you who participated in this giveaway. Just a great turnout, and both BewareTheStampede.com and I, Jeremy over there, want to give everyone a thank you. Remind everyone that even if you didn't win this prize, there will be more giveaways in the future. So make sure you stay tuned, stay connected on BewareTheStampede.com. Stay tuned to us on Twitter. We will let you know when we're giving away more stuff. But the moment we've all been waiting for, the winner of the Andre Reed signed mini helmet goes to Anthony Trefillo. I think I pronounced that correctly. If I did not, I apologize. You can follow him on Twitter under the name Be Cool Fool. Also Viva El Pancho, if you're looking up that way. Been a member of the Bills Mafia since 1981, and also one of the co-founders of Pancho's Army. So someone well deserving of this, and we're happy for all the entrants. Again, thank you very much, and we'll be sending that your way. So again, thank you, congratulations, and I look forward to talking to y'all soon. Until I do, go Bills.